निर्भया केस 16 दिसंबर साल 2012 की वो रात।
Think of this. India is the land of Shakti, the land of Devis, and rightly so. Because it is the feminine energy that has nurtured this sacred land to the zenith of humanity at one point in human history. The Shakti peeths making us sacred geography are revered by all. I can go on and on about how our culture is Shakti-centric. But as the times have progressed, we have failed to live to these standards. At least when it comes to the place of women in our society. We are quick to question or slander our culture whenever incidents of assault on women take place. But isn't it worth pondering that maybe deviation or discarding of India's Shakti-focused culture may be the reason for this pitiable condition? Take the brutal incident in West Bengal that shook India 2 months back. A young medical professional was found raped and murdered at RG Kar Medical College in Kolkata. What followed was equally disturbing. There were credible allegations of attempts to cover up the crime. The incident triggered widespread protests, compelling the intervention of the Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, which is now handling the case. This case highlighted not just the severity of crimes against women, but also the systemic failures in protecting victims and ensuring justice. Then the horrors witnessed in Sandesh Khali, a remote part of West Bengal, further underlined the grim reality of women's safety in certain parts of the country. Women in this region were systematically sexually exploited by local Muslims under the protection of political leaders like Sheikh Shahjahan, a TMC politician. These women, predominantly from marginalized communities, were subjected to unspeakable atrocities, including rape and physical abuse. The nexus between local political power and criminal elements allowed this exploitation to persist for years. Only recently, as more victims came forward, the true scale of this horror was revealed. The Shah Banu case of 1985 was another significant episode that brought women's rights to the forefront of national disclosure. Shah Banu, a Muslim woman, sought alimony from her husband after being divorced through Triple Talaq. The Supreme Court's ruling in her favor was met with backlash from conservative sections, which led to a controversial reversal by the Rajiv Gandhi government under pressure. This case highlighted how appeasement politics can also be a hindrance to women's dignity. The dignity, the right to live, and the status of women is something that must be seen as the responsibility of the society as a whole. This is something that goes beyond what the government can do or does. And yet, the government's role too is crucial. Fortunately, significant progress has been made in improving the status of women in India. The last few years have seen a concerted effort to empower women and secure their rights across various sectors. A monumental step towards gender equality was the passing of the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam in 2023, which reserves 33% of seats in the Indian Parliament and state legislatures for women. This legislation is expected to increase female representation in politics, allowing more women to influence policy and legislation. Historically, women's representation in Indian politics has been low, with only about 14%. Yes, you heard it right, 14% of parliamentary seats held by women before this law. This reservation is a significant move towards correcting that imbalance. At the grassroots level, the high representation of women in local bodies and panchayats has led to the more effective and inclusive governance. With over 46% of seats reserved for women in panchayats, millions of women are now actively participating in decision-making processes, driving social change in rural India. In fact, after the intervention of ex-Union Minister Smriti Irani, the World Economic Forum also recognized the need to count women's participation in local bodies in its gender gap report. This showcases India's commitment to empowering women at all levels of governance, including in the budget. In the 2024-2025 budget, the gender budget reached a historic high with an allocation of rupees 3.27 lakh crore, making a 37% increase from the previous fiscal year. This allocation is directed towards various women-centric programs and schemes such as Mission Shakti, which focuses on women's empowerment and safety. The Beti Bachao Beti Padhao campaign has made significant strides in addressing the declining child sex ratio and promoting the education of girls. The initiative has contributed to shift in societal attitudes, leading to increased enrollment of girls in schools and improved gender ratios in several states. In Haryana, a state with a particularly skewed sex ratio, the program has helped raise the ratio from 834 girls per 1,000 boys in 2011 to 914 girls per 1,000 boys by 2021. These women, once confined to the margins, are now the torchbearers of economic independence. They're not just earning, they're inspiring a whole generation to dream bigger. Women's roles in the Indian armed forces have also expanded significantly in the recent years. Women are now increasingly seen in combat roles, breaking barriers in what was traditionally a male-dominated field. India's space program has also seen women leading from the front. The Chandrayaan-3 mission, which successfully landed on the moon in 2024, was notably spearheaded by a team of women scientists at ISRO. The image of these scientists, draped in traditional saris, celebrating the mission's success, became an iconic symbol of Indian women breaking stereotypes and excelling in science and technology. In the sporting world, Indian women athletes have been making the nation proud. From the Olympics to cricket, shooter Manu Bhaker won 2 bronze medals at Paris Olympics 2024. BCCI's recently announced equal pay for men and women cricketers was also a historic move towards gender equality in sports. Despite these advancements, challenges persist. The Nirbhaya Fund, set up after the 2012 Delhi gang rape case to enhance women's safety, remains largely underutilized. Moreover, personal laws in India continue to be a source of inequality, particularly in matters of marriage, divorce, and inheritance. Muslim personal law stipulates that female heirs receive only half the share of their male counterparts in inheritance. It also permits problematic practices like polygamy. All of this has led to renewed calls for a secular civil code to ensure equal rights for all women irrespective of their religion. There have also been sorry instances when rapists have been left off by the judiciary. One side of the problematic and bizarre rationale that every sinner has a future. As India celebrates Navratri and Durga Puja, a festival that venerates Shakti, it's worth reflecting on how Indian culture has historically revered women as embodiments of strength and wisdom. While the journey towards gender equality is ongoing, the progress made so far reflects a society that is slowly but surely recognizing the value and dignity of women. Until 50% of India's population is left behind and isn't empowered, the nation cannot be empowered. By continuing to push for reforms and challenging outdated norms, India can aspire to become a nation where every woman is truly respected and empowered. If you like this video, you definitely should check out a video where we covered how the Lakpati Didi scheme has empowered a lot of women in our country. This is Dhairya. I will see you in the next one.